I am Nina Eggens. I'm a mum, a singer, a writer, and a business coach. Above all, I'm a creative being. I have ideas coming out of my ears sometimes. My creativity is my fuel. It gives me energy and joy, and a purpose in life. Some people have called me inspiring in the past, and it has always made me laugh because I'm just me. I just do my own thing. I'm creative. I'm always full of ideas, and I have a plan and I make it work, and I do things and I create things and I make beautiful things. I want to make the world a beautiful place and inspire others, I suppose. So, am I inspiring? I don't know. Just me. I started my new venture, the creative business coach, last year because during the whole pandemic and the lockdown, I lost a lot of clients. I was a copywriter here in Spain, and I lost a lot of clients because of the pandemic, because of the lockdowns, and I suddenly felt myself like a lot of small businesses. Yeah, it was like a identity crisis almost, and really thinking like, who am I, and what are my values? What do I find interesting? What do I find important? And I've always been creative. I've always been a creative, and I've always been drawn to helping others and motivating others, inspiring others. And I signed up to this random online business course. I was drawn to that. I don't know why. I just suddenly said, well, I have nothing else to do. I'll go and do that. And I realized that I was really missing working with other people, because being a copywriter is fine, but it's very lonely. It can be, you just work for people. Yeah, you just sit in your office and you write, and you don't have any interpersonal contact. And I was really missing that. And in my previous career, I've always been a marketing manager or communication advisor or whatever you want to call it, in employment, in art centers, in theaters, in galleries, and you had people around you. So I missed that. So I thought, well, maybe I should go back to that and become a coach. I never saw myself as a coach, but I've always found myself often, even at birthday parties or something like that. You sit next to somebody and somebody says like, oh, I've been walking around with this idea for years, and you're so creative, and I want to be creative, but I'm in my job, but I want to do something else, and I don't know where to start. And I always found myself going like, right, well, how could you do this? How could you start this business? How could you make your dream come true? And before I knew it, over a glass of wine or a piece of cake, we would be talking about how to start this person's new business, or to how to realize their dream. And I've always done that because I see a passion in somebody's eyes, and I see a fire in their belly, and I just want to bring it out. And there's so many people out there doing boring jobs, and they say like, oh, I'm not creative, but they're really creative. They all have this passion inside of them. They all have this desire to be who they really are and to do what they really want to do.
My shop burned down on a Thursday morning, late April 2016. A friend phoned me at 7:30. The mill is on fire. I dropped my breakfast, jumped in my car and drove to 5 miles in disbelief. I spotted the sky-high plumes of smoke from a far distance. I cried. 8 fire engines could not save the building that day. 6 businesses went up in smoke, including mine. All of the irreplaceable original vintage pieces had gone. All of my blood, sweat and tears, and 4 years of utter joy, all gone in a puff of smoke. All that was left was my name on the shop sign, displayed proudly and untouched, oblivious to the destruction going on in the background, as if nothing had happened. "I'm still here," it seemed to say. "It is going to be okay." And somewhere inside of me, I knew it was. Just a month earlier, my husband had lost his job. So suddenly, without warning, we were sitting both at home, wondering what on earth to do next. We remembered a napkin we once scribbled on when we first met, writing down our dreams for the future. I found the napkin back in an old diary I had kept all those years. The ink had faded, but the words were still there. More freedom and living in a warm country were just a few of the wishes we still had to honor. That day in April, we got a clear sign that it was time for us to leave. Birds flying high, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life, and I'm feeling fine. Fish in the sea, you know how I feel. River running free, you know how I feel. Blossom on a tree, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day.
So here I am in El Carmen, which is one of my favorite barrios. It's a lovely place to just wander around and get lost. And you go around the corner, you see street art. There's always something to do, lots of galleries, lots of museums. It's quite green as well, there's lots of bougainvilleas trees. And lots of little shops that I like to explore. And I just wanted to show you just a little shop here. It's a little vintage shop, and I used to have one myself. So it's really nice to see these shops here in Spain. So sort of similar to what I used to own, because I do miss it. I do miss running a shop like that, because it's the joy of finding vintage, and it's like a treasure hunt every time you look for stock, because nothing is ever the same. This is just wonderful. This is exactly like the shop I used to have. It's just full of wonderful treasures, furniture, lamps, art. The most wonderful thing about selling vintage is the story behind every item. Everything is unique. This is what I used to love about my job as a shopkeeper. Is the stories behind the items, and then passing them on to the new owners. It's wonderful. Look at this. Suitcases, chairs. So cool.
I don't think we would have moved if life hadn't changed so drastically for us that year. But sometimes you need a push to go after your dreams. I don't know if this is our forever place, but Valencia is making me feel so alive. I love this place, and I'm happy here. I am surrounded by strong, inspiring women from all over the world, and I am fired up to make a difference.
So one of the things I've always done throughout my life, whenever I moved to a new city, was to find a band. I've had bands in every city I ever lived in. I'm a singer, play guitar, write songs, and I found joining a band in a new city has always been a really good help to ground somewhere, to find new roots, and to really quickly integrate. In Scotland, I had a few bands. I've never stopped playing in bands. I'm 42 now, and I've been in bands for, 25 years or something. In Spain, I did the same. I had, within 6 months of being here, I miraculously found a band, and it was, apart from being really a lot of fun, it also taught me a lot of Spanish, because I came here with, very basic Spanish, and pushing myself to go to this band, to these rehearsals, and struggling through the Spanish and explaining my songs to them and understanding what they were all saying. It's really helped me in integrating here and making new contacts and feeling more confident in speaking Spanish. And but it also, I don't know, I'm a bit funny like that. I always push myself out of my comfort zone, and that was definitely a big push out of my comfort zone, to be in a band with Spanish people without me speaking fluent Spanish. And it made me sometimes hate going, but I kept going, and I'm, 3 years in, I'm still with the same band, so, and I understand them now.
Suitcase and a bag between police and mine. A book in a strange language, you're looking mighty fine. The labels make me wonder, is that
I've never been very conventional. I promised myself that by the time I was an old woman, I would be a storybook full of adventures, that I could tell my grandchildren that their grandma had been fearless and creative, and that she always stepped out of her comfort zone, that she opened a quirky vintage shop in the middle of nowhere, and rocked with her band while heavily pregnant. That she was never short of ideas and then made them happen. Because if you want something, you got to go after it. I always dreamt about living abroad, learning new languages, opening my mind. I moved abroad twice, and building up a new life from scratch has made me stronger, more resilient, and I like that.